Hey, sweet being of the divine. Well, we're officially in it. We are in the throes of disclosure. And here in this seat of 2020, things don't look like they're lightening up, and they're not. But I'm here with a message of what's coming, how to prepare for it, because we're not bothered by this. In this process of disclosure, everything will be revealed, and you, my love, will be realized. This is the point of your ascension, to recognize your power, that you're really a great being, a star being, who took on this human experience to bring it back to the stars. Wow, yeah, all that. I'm Andye Murphy, Cosmic Priestess, and this path of service, well, this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do in this life. So I'm really grateful to be here with you. And what's coming through today is a channeling that I received on the full moon in Pisces of 2020. I was trying to integrate it, and they're like, don't integrate it, it just needs to go out. So, hey, I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to share the channeling with you in its totality. So would you give yourself maybe an opportunity to just receive? If nothing has been making sense to you, or if you are scared of what the future may look like, hey, I'm here to show you how to get through it. This is what we do. What's coming? Well, we're in a spiritual war. No question about that. Please don't think this is political. It's not. The world is not at risk. It's not. What's at risk is humanity. What's at risk is your sovereignty, the freedom of your soul to realize and become divine. This is what's actually going on here. So everything else on the outside, it's just to distract you. Please don't get distracted. It's not going to help. So we are not in this place where you need to force anything, nor do you need to fight. Oh my God, I can't tell you how long that message has been coming through. From Shisahat last year on our 1111 portal in 2019. Sekhmet also came through last year. Mother Sekhmet came through. This is not a time to fight. There's nothing to fight. If you're fighting, you're still working in duality. You're still working in the belief of polarity. You're still working in an illusion separation. Please don't. Separation of illusion, illusion of separation. There you go. If you're in the fight, you're still working in an us versus them mentality. This is a distraction. Promise you that much. Where I need you to be is just right here. So the question of what's coming can get a little tricky, because from where we sit right now, we can't have the full perspective of what's going on and how it's going to shake out. So I pulled some cards. First card that we pulled. Yep, here's our card of adjustment. And this is a perfect card. It's not only a card of Libra, but equinox, and this is kind of where we are sitting right now anyway. An adjustment is going to be required, which means that you must change your focus. You must know what is real. You must know what is being manipulated within you. Because each time that you are affected by something outside of you, you're giving away your power. Duh, that's just kind of basic. For me, the adjustment card, often a card of disclosure. It makes perfect sense, right? Sometimes it's the justice card in other decks. So this is when everything is being revealed. And as you can see in the adjustment card, really, it's about coming back to center. It's about working with the great goddess Ma'at. Truth. Queen of Cups. We come back into a place of not only truth, but we come into a space of heart. This is what will get you through. This is what's coming, which is going to be a battle, right? The illusion of polarity, the battle that is actually going on between the mind and the heart, between the masculine and the feminine, between these old ways of power and the new ways of divine light. Divine light is what's coming, FYI. This is why I don't need you to be in fear, but we need to have information, because if we are just bypassing, delusional, hiding our head in the sand, or avoiding any of this, that's not going to help us. So we need clear focus, clear vision as we go into the next phases of our awakening process. Ace of Swords. Hey, we will be victorious. Look at all that light that's coming in. And even if you look at these two cards together, you want to do that? Hey, you can see the sword is the same. One is pointing up, one is pointing down, because what's actually happening here in your ascension process, in your awakening process, you're remembering your power as a god. You are bringing your divine self into human form. You are bringing your human self into divine form. This is some of the Merkaba energy that's been working for us. We talked about that quite a bit in Light Body Tech, so if you want to catch up, great, that class is available for you anytime. You're going to need to know truth. And the tower of right now, the fall of 2020, is so frightening because nothing that you believed is real. Everything you thought was real is going to prove not to be, which is why I say please don't get distracted by anything they're telling you outside. That's not the point. How you will get through this winter is by knowing what's inside, devoting to that. That's your work. And as I asked about this idea of the outcome, I was really asking for why. Why is this happening? We need to remember, as things get a little trickier for us personally and collectively, what's going on. So it's kind of like the eye and the prize energy. So this star brothers that comes in is the divine child, Horus. This is the point of what's really going on. We're moving into a new era. Remington Donovan talks about this quite a bit. We're moving into this age, this eon of Horus, the divine child, the light that is you. This is Gaia's greatest gift. She births to the galaxies a whole new race of beings, an enlightened human. This is your ascension process. Thank you. What I channeled into, the words were just too good on this. Horus. He holds me steady in the stream of the Akash. So work with that idea of Horus. Horus is going to be a defender in some ways. He's protector, he's loyal, but he's also the divine child. He is the child of Isis and the kind of dead, reconstructed, put back together in between the worlds Osiris. Horus is the divine child who comes out of this miraculous birth of the goddess and of the god who has been resurrected. This is you, right? So don't get into resurrection stories, don't need to connect it that much, but I want you to just recognize in this Horus energy, he'll hold you steady in the stream of the Akash. The Akash is what's real, right? The illusion is falling away. The Akashic records is your truth. The Akashic records is your stream. The only thing that you can actually trust is the Akashic records. We can change the Akashic field, which is what we'll be doing through our Akashic records initiations. Say that 6 times fast. But holding you steady in this stream so that you don't get thrown about, because when you know your own Akashic record, you know center. You know how to be this middle pillar of self that is becoming divine, calling from above and below, not necessarily playing on this plane so much. So by March of 2020, can I just promise you this? Everything looks totally different. That big outcome that we're looking at, the why, by March, all of a sudden, the shadows begin to lift. And we will understand with certainty, oh my gosh, what they have been doing to us. That revelation is going to be very hard for some. It will be destructive of a world. This is a corrupt world that's starting to go away, which is pretty exciting, but it also gives you nothing to grasp onto. So when we ask, what can we trust right now? Well, we can trust the mysteries. So Book of Doors is one resource that I'm working with. You could also work with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. I'll be teaching quite a few classes of the Egyptian mysteries because that's where I focused my energy, and it's the only thing that starts to make sense. They hold the star codes. They remind us of what's real and what we're going into, which is pretty rad. So by the time we get to March of 2021, I want to promise you there will be a reason for joy. There will be the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, oh my God, that's what it was all for. But unfortunately, we have to get through the dark night of winter first, here in the Northern Hemisphere. At least that's what we're going into. And this is the second card that I pulled in this Y outcome energy, which is the void. Embrace the winter, which is not a problem. I want to make sure that you understand the void. Oh, that void. The void is a pretty luscious space. In the Egyptian teachings, it's the place of the unmanifest, neberture. It's the place where nothing has been created and everything is possible. So the void is not without substance. The void is without form. It's a pretty rich, fertile place to hang out. So let your winter be some of that, pretty please. Let your winter be incredibly intentional and purposeful to be able to go into the dark, quiet within, to know more of yourself. I started playing with this shift in languaging sometime during early quarantine, where the work is me. The work is my shadows, my wounds, my codependency, my insecurities, the places where I do not feel great about who I have been and what I've done. The karma, the karma. That's my work. Ancestral lineage, that's my work. Making sure my daughter is taken care of, that's my work. What I do in the world, that's not work, that's service. And that work, service that we do in the world actually gets much easier as we take care of this, because our only job is to take care of this. Within the magical traditions, they'll call this the great work. You are the great work, honey. This great work is becoming a realized or an actualized human being, which means taking your star form, taking your divine form. So going into the space of the void, well, we want to make sure you have some tools for that too. So over in the Birthing the Light class, we go into some really good cosmic womb energy. And anytime that I'm going to be facing the void, thank you, it's actually on the card too, isn't it? That's funny. The great cosmic womb, for the Egyptians, would be known as the Ganusa, second chakra. This is the great cosmic womb that holds you. So being able to go into that space will certainly help. It's about surrendering to the outside, recognizing that nothing on the outside is real, letting the illusions of what you've been told the world is die. And you will see some beings really fight against that. You won't fight, because this is why we're anchoring you to like what is real, what's actually happening. The people who are fighting are the people who have more fight in the game, right? They have more to lose. You, I would hope, recognize the illusions of it, so there's nothing to lose. The ones who are losing are the ones who have been greedy, the ones who have been in power, the ones who have dictated the fucking rules of this rigged game. You are waking up from the rig. You are taking back your power. Pretty exciting, pretty juicy, but they don't necessarily want that to happen, which is where it's going to get tricky. Thank you. If you were able to see all of what was coming through the winter and through this battle, it would get a little overwhelming. Magenta Pixie talked about that in one of her videos. They don't want to show us everything that's happening because you don't recognize right now your own strength and power. As you focus on your strength and power, on the truth, on the quiet within, on building up these inner resources, you recognize the truth is you are capable of everything. They made you feel very small. You bought into that. You're not small. You're one of the most dynamic forces in all of creation. Truly. The way that you have been star-seeded, the multiple races that came together to create you, the way that Gaia has this glow throughout all of the galaxy, nothing like you exists. And as you begin to realize that, my love, things will be certainly exciting. So you don't know yet your true courage and strength, which is why we ask you to do this inner work, the only work, to understand and remember who and what you are. Knowing that you were successful will certainly make this journey easier for you. As I said, kind of keep your eye on the prize of this March 2021. Things will begin to lift by that point in time. Third card that I pulled when I was working with this, what is our outcome of this whole situation? What is our why? It's earthed. Oh, hey, how about that? There you go. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So we will come out of this energy, of this darkness, as we come into the spring of 2021, earthed. We are a new human. We recognize our power. We know how to hold some divine energies in us. And what really is going to be showing up in 2021 is this idea of you begin to lead. You. Like you. Yeah. Because there are plenty of people who are not as awake as you are. So you will be moving into these places of leadership. You will be the teacher. You will be the Hierophant. That is our 5 that comes into 2021. You'll know how to lead. You'll show others the way out of the illusion. And out of that illusion is like you thought the world was this. It's really scary when all of that goes away. But you're actually this. Oh, well, then we're fine. So there will be enough of us who are embodying that on that birthing timeline that we're calling it. There will be enough of us who are already working at that new frequency, that new way of being, that will just be able to like boop, 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 bring people over. So this earthed energy that we're seeing will be a new way of being human, a new way of inhabiting the earth. This idea of the meek shall inherit the earth. While it may be biblical, it is also going to be fairly magical. The meek, the divine child, the innocence of the heart and the joy that you are will start coming back online. Because this is what's been promised to you. This is what the world wants of us. And in that place of what's been promised to us, of realizing truth, I also want to make sure that you understand this invitation that's being offered to you right now. While it may look like spiritual warfare, while it may look like political fucking, oh my God, going off all around you, what's actually happening is this great invitation. Who's writing your story? Who's actually in charge here? Who's pulling the strings? You need to be the one doing all of that. You. The quicker that you realize that you're the one writing the story, the quicker you'll evolve. And this is a little bit of the key, right? We're here to realize. So let's talk about truth for a second, because the truth is a really big deal. The truth is you were never put here to suffer. Can you feel that for a second? The truth is these great beings who came out of the nebulous void to take form on this planet, to allow this human race to evolve, it was so you could experience all of the joys of the earth. It was so you could be successful and bountiful and happy and joyous and in this human experience of delight. This is why we're here. You're meant to be successful, prosperous, happy, loved, joyous, peaceful. The other agenda that came in here, well, it made people some money. It made others slaves. We're waking up to that reality now, so you can't believe anything outside of you. That is a long game. That is the long con. Got to come back to within. This is what we're waking up to. This is our truth. This is good. This is an old Egyptian proverb that also came from the Book of Doors. The gods deny those who do not know they are gods. Did you hear that? The gods deny those who do not know they're gods. So the more that you realize the truth of what you are, the more that the energies in the universe will align in your favor. When you are living purpose, everything in the universe wants you to do that. Nothing is anti you living your purpose. Everything is for it. And you'll begin to feel within your body, right, the gut sense, the inner knowing, that womb space. If something is off, you will feel it in your body. Pay attention to that, please. Easiest thing to do. Your gut is aligned to your truth. That within your cosmic womb, within your Akashic record, that is where it lives in your body. You will always be brought into alignment with your truth. Anything that is anti that, well, that's just in your fucking head. So pay attention to when you have a gut feeling that's pulling you into alignment with truth. It's bringing you back into your flow state. And pay attention to those energies that are up here in thought, because the thoughts create reality. You know that, right? I mean, that's just kind of basic. Your thoughts create reality. So what's being asked of us in some of this invitation is to remember that we're gods and to start holding a vision of the new earth. This is going to be what we're going to do over in the Patreon. We're going to do an activation of this teaching today, a shared vision that can carry us through this dark night of winter, through this void time. Because none of this needs to fill you with fear. It should excite you, really, truly. The fear, often in the head, the fear is, I don't know shit. Oh my God, I was wrong. Oh my God, I don't know what's real. That's often the fear. But when you can tap back into your true alignment through the Akashic Records, ideally, that's just going to be the place, right? This is not a push for the Akashic Records, but what I love is the Akashic Records is the field of truth. It is the divine guidance system, your internal GPS that's been created for you. To know your records is to know your truth. When you know your truth, everything gets a little bit easier. Side note. Thanks. So let's talk about some tools to be able to get you to the other side. Because you will be successful. You are awakening to the divine within. Promise. Did I already say this? You didn't expect Atlantis either. This is what they've been telling us. So whatever it is that's coming, it will seem so fucking asinine that I want something in your true sense, in your knowing, in your inner knowing, to be like, what the fuck is that? Watch for any of those types of sensations, because that will also clue you in to where the manipulation is, where the program is. Thanks. I heard you guys. They want to talk about this piece right now, because what's happening is we have a narcissistic president. Thank you. No judgment on him. I think he's actually doing some good things, but this is not political. I think he's a real despicable fucking human being too. So like, how do you vote for either one of those dorks? I don't know. That's not what we're here to talk about. But we have a narcissistic president. In watching a narcissist at work, we are being shown on a grand scale, oh, this is what a narcissist is. On the other side, we have fucking Biden. Biden is a loon. Either one of those, they're so absurd. So instead of it being this political thing that either one of them is going to save us, nobody's going to fucking save us. FYI, nobody's saving us or rescuing us. Neither of them can do shit. But they're showing us this archetype of the bumbling old man and the narcissist. We recognize within, oh, this is what a narcissist is. So we are waking up from this slumber of codependency, realizing our entire world has been created to be codependent, which is, I need you, you make me feel better. It's a really destructive system that's actually been going on. So the codependent model of how you've been behaving, and you'll behave that way within families, you'll behave that way with jobs at times. And right now what we're watching is you behave that way with your government. Yeah. Can you just take that in for a second? Codependency. The codependency is breaking. And as we get into some of the old ideas of where this codependency came from, it's the fear of being abandoned again. The fear of not being loved and not being lovable. That is some of the illusion that has been fed to you that we're waking up from. So recognizing your own codependency, recognizing the places where you have been the narcissist, recognizing there are no victims. But in order to get your emotional needs met, you may have been fucking manipulative. I know I have. Not fun, that codependency, but it's coming up everywhere right now. So in April of 2020, we did an Akashic Records initiation, and in that initiation, we were going back through the halls of Amenti to Atlantis and Lemuria. And as a soul group, gosh, there were probably about 100 of us doing it at that point in time, going back in, opening up the halls of Amenti to bring some of these memories forward. And here we are 6-7 months later, and this Atlantis thing is coming up for everybody. The wounds of Atlantis is coming up for everybody. So the work that we do in our initiation spaces, it's affecting the larger world, which is really cool. Not the point of that. But we stirred something up back then. And that stirring up is this abandonment wound, which goes way, way back. But you'll watch this abandonment wound manifest many different places. And it's time to heal it. This is what's being afforded to you. This is the invitation that you get to focus on in the winter, going into that void space. Let's talk about the tools that will help you to get to the other side. Now that you know what the other side is, you know what's coming. We know why it's coming. Perfect. So to get to the other side, you're going to need to focus. Focus, my love. You need to focus on you. This is the idea of the work outside versus the work inside. This is your work. Where do you hurt? Why do you hurt? What in you keeps hurting? What do you keep ignoring in you so that it keeps hurting? Goodness gracious. Birthing the light is our advanced shadow work, where you take some of that sorrow and you transmute it into compassion and joy, bringing that grief through to the other side. The lineages of light is where we do that. Knowing the truth. And let's talk about that truth for another second, because this is really good channeling words that came in too. The future is naive. It is influenced and created by the awakened ones. How about that? That was pretty good. The future is naive. The future is totally programmable in that way. So we will do that so that enough of us have this shared focus to remember what it is that's going on. In that place of focus, knowing what's true, anchoring into that truth timeline, visioning a new future, you also must be radically present in the now. I can't even tell you what that's been like, because time doesn't feel the same as it did a year ago, 6 months ago, certainly not 10 years ago. Each day feels like a week. Each week feels like a month. Each month feels like a year of growth and progress. You have to be so present with where you are at in any given day, and let that truth of you dictate how your day goes. This is why I pull cards every day. I need a little bit of a heads up of like, okay, where could this day go and how do I flow with it? You'll need to be like water in this way. The world's on fire. Everything is crumbling. It's okay. You got this. You know truth. You have your light. And be like water where you just flow with it. And you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't feel like a place that opens to me today. This is also where having this gut knowing will be very helpful for you. Working within your Akashic record will be very helpful for you. If something isn't opening, it's not supposed to. Back up. Take a day to nap. Take a day to rest. It's totally fine. You won't stay in that inertia forever, in the inert, right? In the nothingness. You can't. You can't stay in stagnation. There will be energy, the natural yin and yang. We did this on the Cosmic Mama podcast with Larissa. How to move into some of that yin receiving state. You can't stay in nothingness forever. Naturally, the energy will start coming back in to support you, so trust that. Thanks. There is nothing to fear but the magnitude of your own power. How about that one? There is nothing to fear except how much power you have inside of you. And I think this has been my work with codependency that's been so fucking tricky. Because each time I see the ways that I have given away my power, not loved myself, begged somebody else to love me. Fuck, that's gross. It's so gross. It is gross. It is shameful. It is hard. It is sticky. It is, it's gross. And it's my journey. So not judging it, having compassion on it, coming back to the innocence. Maha Karu. Maha Karu. I did all of it with innocence. I didn't know better. So each time that you find the places in yourself, whether it's codependency or something else, where you've been manipulative, where you have been dishonest, where you have suppressed your power or given it away for something else, come back to the innocence, that divine child, that energy of Horus. Oh, it's all going to be okay. Oh, it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Better than okay. I didn't know better. So innocence and grace is the state that we need to come back to. Anytime that we start getting too heady in the, oh God, that's so scary, I'd rather avoid it, I don't want to face that, we come back to the innocence. I didn't know better. And we allow ourselves to evolve into the adult version of us that does love us better, that can protect us, that can do us better. The places that I have been, my work, I need to learn my own masculine. I need to learn that I can protect myself in those ways, that I make myself feel safe. So I don't, in my codependency, keep calling in somebody else to show me how or to do it for me, because then I become dependent. I need somebody else to do that. Nope, this is what I get to hack. So, there's a little sneak peek of what I'll be working on, which may be coming up for a lot of us. Knowing, thank you, your other tool to get to the other side is that knowing in this epic battle you'll be victorious. That is assured. Okay, do you remember that? And just so I can show you again. Ace of Swords. You will be victorious. Thanks. The adjustment that's coming in. So we have this energy that is going down. We're bringing down our star self. We're rising up our human self. We will be victorious. There's no doubt about that. We've passed all of these thresholds and all of these points that we haven't as a planet before. And there are certainly agendas in place that don't want us to be successful, because if you knew your power, there's no way to control you. You may not believe in all of these structures that they set up, that they told you that were loving and safe and that were in place for your protection. Fuck you guys. I don't need your protection. And this isn't anarchistic. Would you also hear that? There's no fight. There's nothing to tear down. There's only a new world that's ready to be birthed. This is the trick that a lot of us have been in, which is there's something dying and birthing at the same time. Can you feel all of this? Can you feel the excitement of what actually is coming behind it? Because this, as you go into your winter months, this will be what gives you energy. This will be what gives you power. But I want to remind you how fucking incredible you are, because I don't think you really know it. You may have inklings, but this is the time to really know it. This is the time through the winter to embody it. And I'm so excited for you, because there's nothing coming but joy. There's nothing coming but the innocence. This new earth is coming. So if you're a member of Patreon, come on over and join us. We're now going to do an activation of this energy. If you're not, Luminous Mysteries, you can find me. And if everything else you may need is over at andyemurphy.com. We've got classes coming up, live initiations, some that are pre-recorded for you. But really, the Luminous Mysteries is where I'm hanging out. Thank you. And Cosmic Mama Podcast, God, because there's so much that comes through there. Every podcast seems to be a transmission as well. So, great. I'm just going to keep serving. I'm going to keep doing my work, because that's my work. And I'm going to keep serving, because this is quite fun. This is actually pretty delightful. It's actually pretty easy to step into this once I can get out of my own fucking way. Hope you get to do the same. I love you so much.